What is it? Taco Tuesday! Taco Tuesday! And my cup of joe for today is the Kings got a victory. Yay. Versus Memphis Grizzlies, which is a very good team, mind you. As you can see, they're currently in 5th place, down from, I want to say they were at 2nd place at one point. Their record is 43 and 26, which is better than our record, obviously. So, I mean, in the long run, this is good. Anytime the Kings can beat a Western Conference opponent, rival, op, whatever you want to call them, it's going to be good because it's going to bring us one game closer to whatever position they're in. And it'll help us climb these rankings, climb these positions here. Kings are kind of stuck in 9th right now. They'd have to do some big winning to overtake the Clippers, like 3 games worth of winning at least. And then right above them is Timberwolves, who are 40 and 30. And it would take a lot to catch them. They'd have to get 6 more wins without losing any games, obviously, and they still wouldn't catch them. Right now, things are starting to kind of settle in. The playoff race is kind of settling in. There is a very close gap between 2nd place and 5th, where the Grizzlies are. They're all separated by a game or half a game or so. So it's really close up there. But for the Kings need to take this game as a game that they should have won, and good on them. They did win, and that's what they need to do, beat the teams that they should beat. So good. This victory is great for the Kings. They are 1-4 in the past 5 games, which we all know is not good. But they are 5-5 in their past 10 games, which is about what they are, a 500 team. Can the Kings take anything away from this game? Yeah, they can. They played the game well. They closed out the game, the quarters and the halves well, which is good. They played a lot better defense than they did last game. They were moving and cutting a lot better, helping out, closing out a lot better. This team didn't attempt as many threes as some of these other teams, so they didn't have to close out as much, but the closeouts were better. They were moving better, and I attribute that to last game was the second night of a back-to-back, so they've gotten some rest here. They've got to rest for a few games and got a practice or 2 in, so kind of what they needed, some home cooking, some rest, things like that. It was a lot more like Kings basketball last night against the Grizzlies, which is good. They didn't have everybody. They did have Desmond Bane, and Desmond Bane did go off on them for like 44 points, which is crazy that the Kings let a player go off on them like that, and let alone Desmond Bane, who isn't like the greatest guy. Obviously, he's a good shooter and he's a great up-and-coming player, but 44 from Desmond Bane, I mean, if they would have shut him down, I mean, who else was going to score for them? They got to kind of start thinking like that type of thing. They got a guy torching them, shut that guy down, make the rest of the team score. Can they? Will they be able to? At the Kings level, probably not. So Kings just need to still think about things defensively, strap up defensively, get a lot more aggressive defensively, those type of things. Make sure they're closing out these halves well. And they'll be able to get some more victories like this, I believe. They do have this homestand coming up, so the homestand will help them out. They have the 7-game homestand for the next 2 weeks, which is great. Some of the teams are really good teams, though, so they have to be aware of that. But 7-game homestand this late in the season, they need to take advantage of that, because right after that, they go on the road, obviously, for like 7 games. 6-game road trip after that. So, it couldn't be all good for the Kings. There had to be some bad in there, right? So they get the 7-game homestand against really good teams. Like Cleveland, they have to play Boston and OKC and Milwaukee. So they're going to be playing some good teams. This is really going to test them out for what they're going to be in the playoffs, if they can make it to the playoffs. At this point, it's looking like they're going to be one of the lower end play-in teams. Hopefully they can move up. But they're really going to have to fight their way through this homestand, and then after that, this road stand that they're going to be on. This homestand lasts all the way until March 27th, the end of March. For about 10 days, a week and a half or so, and then their road trip will be from March 29th till about April 7th. So about another 10 days of road trip after that. So a week and a half of road trip after that. So that's going to be hard. That's going to be grueling. So the Kings, in my opinion, they just need to keep stacking wins as much as possible against teams that they should beat, taking advantage of these teams that are injured and limping right now or limping into the playoffs. You got to do it. You got to kill the wounded animal, take them out of their misery. You got to win these games. Don't be playing around with these games and these teams that are not even going to make it to the playoffs or that are wounded. They need to make sure they stomp on the necks of these teams coming up that they're playing and play very aggressive on defense and on offense. And it's all a work. It's all a work right now. Should this team be broken up? I don't think so. Is this team the worst team ever? Definitely not. Does this team have chemistry yet? They're working on it. They're getting there. It's a work in progress. And I want you to hear what Zach LaVine said after the game in his press conference. I thought this was really revealing on how Zach LaVine thinks currently.
Everything that second unit really kicked guys that were scoring. We had 3 guys with 20, a couple other guys past 10. Pretty looked like everybody scored almost I got in the game. So we did a great job. Jake with his little revenge game. It was incredible.
Jake LaRavia's revenge
I can't say
game.
enough about the guys that how they played. So it was a full team effort.
You mentioned Jake there, but Devin and Trey also a lot of bench production tonight. How much do you feel like they added energy?
Everything that second unit really kick-started. I think if it was late in the first, early second, they went in there and had the building rocking. Really jump-started us, and that just carried over throughout the rest of the game. So those guys, hats off to those guys because that's what we need sometimes.
Malik was talking yesterday about and he had to be better, and today he was near exceptional. What was your thoughts about his play tonight?
Malik is really good, and obviously with us coming together as a unit, it's going to take time. I think everybody wants it to happen so fast. Obviously, after All-Star break, we're pushing for the playoffs, but you got to sometimes figure out what doesn't work before you find out what does. So, Malik keeps playing like the way he does, we're going to be just fine.
And so I thought he made some really good points right there. I like what he said about Malik Monk as well. He gave Malik Monk some props. And he basically said it's a work in progress. People expected it to just happen right away, right after the All-Star break. Right after it happened, after the trade deadline. But it's a work in progress. These guys are trying to figure things out. They're trying to figure each other out still. We as Kings fans are so tired of losing that it's almost like we expect these things to happen right away or something. That'd be nice, that would be great. Zach LaVine came in here and took over the world and we go on to win every game and win the championship. But I think we know it doesn't work like that. This team is still trying to figure it out. They're still tooling, they're still retooling, they're still learning each other. So it's not a rebuild. We're in the playoffs at this point. We got to keep winning. We got some new guys. We lost our franchise player, so we got another franchise type player. So we just got to keep working at it. And these guys need to use this game as a catapult into the next game and try to figure things out on the fly, on the run, like they have been, and go ahead and get some victories on this homestand. We need that if we're going to expect to move up. So that's my cup of Joe. Black, one creamer.